So welcome back to yet another episode of Wheels and Toys. Today we're back here in the 718 Spider, and today we're going to talk about how you can pimp your interior if you're owning one of these cars with the bucket seats. So either if you have these ones, the folding bucket seats, or they also call the sport bucket seats, or if you have the 918 seats. There are several ways to make them a little bit more bespoke to your sort of style, but also to get your car looking a little bit more special. And one of the things you can do with these that I think is really nice, and that I've done to this car, is to replace the fabric in the seat insert. You can do that. You can spec it from Porsche. It's super duper expensive. It's one of those Porsche exclusive manufacturer things you can do. It's almost 10,000 US dollars if you want to do it, or you can do it as I did. So today we're gonna cover what you can do and how you do it, and I'm gonna walk you through when we reupholster one of these seats. So, and when I say that, what I'm talking about is this middle part here of the seat. It's made out of this material from it's actually an OEM material, so original from Porsche. It's the fabric from the 911R in this car. It's been sewn up or made by a guy called Gary that runs a company called Classic FX, and I'll post his handle and how you can get hold of him down below this video. They were around, at this time when I bought them, like 1,500 US for a pair. A little bit depends on the fabric you go for. This being the OEM Porsche one, hard to get your hands on, might not even be available anymore, but it was a little bit more expensive, but totally worth it. So I think it really livens up the interior of the car, and it gives a little bit more classic and unique feel to it. Something that I really felt this car was lacking, given that the only interior you could get was black on black, or you could get the red with gray black Alcantara, and that felt very, in one way, classic, but also a little bit too much of a colorful interior. I wanted something, I would have loved to have it in with the top in black and the bottom in cognac or in sand, which you could do for some of these cars, but you can never do it from the optionals or options when you spec it new. So without further ado, let's take out one of these seats and head out into the garage, and I'll show you how it works. So the first thing we got to do is to remove the center of these seats. Today we're gonna remove this cover and replace it with, well, the same sort of steps apply if you're changing from Alcantara or from race ticks or from whatever your seats are covered in to one of these new, a little bit more fun looking fabrics. So no matter what style you get, if you get the folding bucket seats or if you get the 918 seats, it all starts the same way. So all of these ones, these parts in the middle are Velcro. If you have the regular sport seats, the 18-way or the 14-way, the same does not apply. So make sure you get the bucket seats in one of the versions you want to do this model. So for these ones, we'll just start here in the top. It's Velcro, so take it easy. They come off just like that. If you have, such as I do, if you have the heated seats, which you could only get from factory in the folding buckets, that's why I have those, not a 818 or 918 buckets. You have this cord sitting here, so just unleash it or unlock that one and take that away. Then continue with this one here in the bottom. Same goes here. It's a connector. Goes away like that. Then we come to this big one in the bottom. It sits a little bit tighter than the other parts, but it's still just Velcro. So still sits very tight down here, and it's a big one in the middle underneath here. So make sure you just get your hands underneath. It's a little bit trickier if you want to have the camera on while we do this. otherwise I would be where you are right now. So you unleash it like that, and you see here, and then you have this big ass connector that just well, it's just the heated seat as well. It's just that it's more power, I guess, and you just unwiggle this one as well. Now we have the 3 parts and we can start working. And here you can see this seat, and we're gonna do 2 more videos actually about the interior, because on these new seats this cushion is very thick and you can't really get as low as in these seats as many people want. So we are going to manufacture a thinner seat cushion for the seats with a little bit more angle, so that we come down. It's a little bit better for this summer's racetrack adventures. And I've also discovered how you can actually get your 918 seats with heaters, but that's another episode. So let's jump into the garage and we'll do the sort of rest of the work. Okay, so let's get this started. So I'm still here, it's just that I think you're more interested in the cushions than my face, so we'll focus on those. So this is what you're gonna have. You're gonna have 3 pieces essentially. You're gonna have the big one, which is the main seat that you put your bum on. Then you gotta have 2 pieces which come together like that and form your back. It might be different if you have the 918 seats, then I think it's only 2 pieces. Well, let's do this. So before we start on those, let's have a look at these ones. These are the OEMs, so you understand this is exactly what you're gonna get if you buy one of these kits. Of course, you get 2 of them. So there's one little thing like this. That's the assist thing. As you'll see, it's just like a bag with Velcro. Then you get, of course, the same for the top. Also very easy. And then you get this one. This is the main seating thing, and that's the hardest one because it comes with this big thing here, and it opens like this because there's a pocket that you can put your hand through and play around with. Now it's actually because both for pulling the seat down so it don't get fluffy over time, but it's also there actually so if you run these seats or the 918 seats, which has the same with the 4-point or 6-point harness, it goes actually straight through here from the seat. So that needs to be able to go through there, and the same goes for these ones. So I'm going to show you how to undress them, and then we'll just redress them. So we'll start with these ones. That's the easiest part. So simply just walk your way, as we talked about before. Take your time, walk your way around it. Just pull off the Velcro to fold it out like that. Same on the other side. Just slowly but steady go around. Fold that down. Continue. Do like this, and we just pull out the pillow. It's just like that. So that's your seat cushion pillow. Looking a little bit different once again. As you see this white material here, it has the heaters inside of it. So usually when you build these seats, and I know that from actually building seats for Saab and Volvo back in the days, is that this heating call it membrane or something, actually usually goes inside of the actual cushion, giving it special cushions for every version of the seat. But for the folding buckets, and actually for the sport seats as well, this is actually an add-on. So it's glued on. I'm not going to pull it off, but it's glued on. So glued on all to these ones. So if you're getting a new, you're actually getting 2 parts, which means that you can get these and install it in a 918 seat. But we'll look into that because we're going to try to do that on the other seat. So yeah, we'll have that disassembled, and we'll continue with the next one. So now we come to the part with this part of the seat here. So once you actually make it, you see there's a seam in the middle, be very careful, because then when you go around, you can see, I don't know if you see it on the camera, but you'll see when you do this, there's actually Velcro in here as well. So be very careful. So you can almost take it out like this and just slowly pulling it off. And I'll show you how to do this when you reattach it, but you don't want to pull this off because then you can just hurt the Velcro, and especially can hurt the fabric. So, and you can hurt these heaters. So we'll remove that. You see it, there's a Velcro here, and we'll work with it in the same way when we reattach it. Same here, 2 heaters in this cushion here as well. Then we come to the main one, which is the big one. It's a very easy one as well. We start, this is not hard, it just take your time. So do it like that, remove the side, remove this other side here as well, fold it out, take your time, do the bottom here. It's a lot of Velcro. That. Take the top. Make sure this is Velcro actually on both of the sides. So when you get these ones, make sure you don't just tear it. So it actually comes back together. So now it's all unleashed here. We'll do the big one. Same here, double-sided. So make sure you don't deattach them from each other because we need to glue them like that. Same here. That there, attached. So now we can start over here, which is the easy side. Just detach this one and loosen it. The same thing happens here. So when this comes loose, you'll have another one of these ones. So push down with your finger, hold it in place, and work your way towards the end, like that. You can detach that one. This next one has this on the side, so do the same, work the sides up until this middle. That's where it goes through. So you work this right side as well. Now come to the middle, all the fabric is now loose. You can now just squeeze this little bad boy through here. Make sure not to hurt your fabric. It goes like this. Now you can see it sort of almost hangs here in the middle, and it goes straight through. Okay, these things fold back. So we'll detach those, and now we can just push it through here to the other side. It of course just sticks to everything, but it goes like that. So we got it. We got the kit, the fabric. We got the main ass cushion, and this is where you start. But usually you of course come from the OEM seat cover, which is in this case for Alcantara. Very gray. You get a very gray interior, and then of course you come to this very nice material made out of. I don't know, it looks like a very plush, sewn or stitched or woven material. Very nice, very classic. It's been around with Porsche for such a long time. So yeah, let's reattach them. To make it easy, we'll actually start with these smaller pieces first. So it's very simple actually. What you do is you simply take this, bring it in, try to not put the Velcro in at first because it's gonna stick. So I'll just do like that and everything, and just make sure that it sits sort of snug and nice here on the edges. You'll see how that works. Then you can start with these outer edges like the smaller ones, just fold them in, and then take the larger ones on the outside, and make sure that it's like that sits nice and tight. And the reason why we do the large ones are that they are actually, you can see that on them, they have the Velcro that then sticks on the back of the seat in the car. So make sure you do it that way, then you get maximum sort of mounting force once it goes back in the car. And little cable sticks out like that, and that's the small one. So next one, let's look at the seat, like the top of the seat. Same goes here. We have this one, but as you remember when we took it off, this is the one that actually has that Velcro that goes in the middle. So what we do is, like, we put this flat, take this one, take it like this, you hold it, and you try to get this as much in the middle as possible. So put it like this, and you'll see you can measure it almost like to the edges, and then we put our hand underneath there, like we try to really push it down. So you can push it down like this and put your hand in the middle. Just make sure that it really goes down and sticks to the Velcro in the bottom like that. And you'll see that it's stuck because it'll sit like that. And you can fold it up and make sure on the other side as well that you really get it down. Otherwise, this will, if this let loose, you'll get a not such stretch look. Then just reverse this one and simply put it around the edge of the pillow. So nice and tight like that. And the same here in the bottom. Just push it in. And this is what I mean when I say, like, take your time. Don't stress this, don't stress the material, don't stress yourself, it's not nice. And just make sure that you get it nice and tight. Same thing here, these sides are the ones that has the Velcro on both sides, so that's the one that's going to stick to the seat. So start with this as well, start with the top, pull it down, the bottom, make sure it sticks, this actually has that as well. And make sure that you get the pillow to go out into the edges everywhere. And then continue, we'll do the sides, like this. There you go. And that's the other sort of piece of the back. And just before you put it aside, make sure you get the material like sitting nice and flush, that you don't have any twisting of the pattern. That means that you stretch the fabric too much. But this looks nice. The cable's not stuck anywhere, so we'll consider ourselves done with this as well. We'll put that to the side. Now we come to the last one, and this is of course the big one, and this is the let's say tricky one. So because now we have a couple of different things we want to do. So first and foremost, of course, we have this one like the hole, and then we have over here we also have some Velcro that goes into the middle and everything like that. So what we're gonna do actually is we're gonna start with this thing here in the middle, and we're gonna take it slow, but still it needs a little bit of force to get it through here. But that's what we're gonna start with. So make sure you get it through. It's like without trying to harm the pillow. This is the tricky part of this whole thing, and that just tells you how easy this thing actually is to do. So I like that, as long as you get it through like this, and we can just open this and attach it, then it sits there. We're gonna come back and adjust it, but now you have a feeling that, okay, at least it's in somewhat in the middle. Twist it back up, and it sticks all the time. But now we're gonna work on these sides. So each of these sides also goes down here in the bottom. So make sure the pillow is kind of a little bit messier, but same thought. So We'll put my finger from the other side here, and then just make sure it goes all the way down to the bottom, and just push it. Make sure that it sits there, and go back and shake it. That's nice. And the same on this side. We'll just work it all the way down to the bottom. And here you just want to make sure that you can kind of feel it, and the same goes here. Like, you can see in the material if it's stretched or not, that it's like it's still in the middle. Then we'll do the big pillow like this, and just push it around on the edges. That we'll do the same over here. So there we go. And this time, because this is a little bit bigger pillow, you just want to make sure that you go around with your hand and that it sits nice together with the seams, because this is the part you'll see the most. It's the one that sits in the front, right? It sits like that out over the edge of the seat. So make sure that you get it in a good position. Same goes for these two sides here. So that looks nice. Then we'll continue and we'll do it here in the back. But so just like this, and see. So now we have the last part here. This one also has the Velcro. So we'll do it the same. Well, now we also want to stretch this part of the pillow. So we'll make sure to put it like this. And then we'll use our fingers from the other side here. Also make sure that you get it somewhat in the as closest to middle as you can. And we'll just push down from each side like this. And then like you can run your fingers in here and just make sure that that Velcro sits as well. And then we'll simply twist the pillow around the seat cushion, and there you go. Same thing here. We'll start with the bottom, close it in, so. And then we go here to the front. In here, just make sure that you get it. I run mine quite stretched, but there's no need for it. So that's stretching. And then we'll go for the sides. Same here. Close it up. Don't stretch it too much, but I don't want it to be loose either. So do the same here. Just close it down like that. Don't forget these ones inside. And then the last one we're gonna do is of course this in the middle. So we can turn around, and you almost see here that we got it quite nice in the beginning. So you can also see when you put it together so that the material doesn't twist or turn in that way. What we can see now, it's a little bit loose on this side, a little bit tight on that side. So what we'll do actually is we'll just loosen both of them like that. Pull a little bit more in the front, close it down like that. Just make sure we don't pull too much on this one. Close it down. Yeah, that looks a lot better, and everything sits in its place. And now we're done. So we have the main seat, have the top seat, goes in top up here, top seat, and then, or top part, and then we have the cushion that goes underneath here. So with that said, it's time to put them back in the car, and it just goes the same way as when we remove them. So don't forget to connect the heated seats and start with the main part. So we're back inside the car here in the garage because it was pitch black outside. The seats are back in place, or the cushions are back in place in the seats, and it's super easy to mount them. It's even easier than taking them out because it's the other way around, but there's no pulling in the Velcro. If you decide to do this mod, the only thing you need to now decide upon is what fabric to go for. I went with a little bit more classical Pepita look for the pattern with these OEM fabric from the 911R. But of course, if you have, let's say, yellow stitching, maybe you want to go with something that matches that, and then there's plenty of good options as well. Or if you want to do like a 964 RS tribute, that's really cool as well. But whatever you decide to go for, there are a couple of different manufacturers that does this. I got mine from Gary at Classic FX. This is not by any means a paid promotion. I'm just super happy with how these seats came out. So if you're looking to do it, hopefully this video helped you out in and not being afraid of doing it yourself, but also doing this mod. So if you liked it, please consider subscribing, maybe even giving this video a thumbs up. And I'll see you in the next one, where we continue discussing if we can get these seats to become a little bit lower. And we'll also look into if you can mount heating afterwards or retrofit it. Until I see you next time, take care, have a good day. Bye.